Well, hello there, Rick.
Hey, Megan. How you doing?
Happy Monday, Tuesday to
I
you.
know. Feels like Monday,
It's
but it's Tuesday.
Man, I feel like when there's no Monday, I feel like somebody
Mhm.
put me in a slingshot and just went right into Monday. People don't realize, like, for real estate, like, Mondays and Fridays are crazy.
Mhm,
There's so much going on.
mhm,
You got all this follow up from the weekend. I have 5 offers that have come in over the weekend on different properties, and
mhm.
trying to get another property launched and get ready for the week. And I'm not complaining at all, but there's a lot of
A
irons
lot of
in the
work.
fire. There's a
Mhm.
lot of things to do. So I know you're
Yeah.
the same exact way. Luckily, it's not the last week of the month. People don't realize that
Whew. Yeah.
lenders, escrow officers, like, don't even talk to them the last week of the month. They're
Oh, the
busy.
last 3 or 4 days of the month, don't call me.
Everybody's trying to get their loan funded so they can
I know, right?
close by the end of the month. It's just crazy. We have these crazy days in our business. But
Yeah,
so today's
yeah.
Monday,
It's all
Tuesday. We
good. Yeah,
we we got it together to meet today, and we're going to talk about
yeah.
something that is near and dear to my heart. And I think that's because I work with a lot of first-time home buyers in,
Mhm,
the North Orange County area.
mhm.
Um, and we
You
have a
do.
lot of condos in South County. I'm
Mhm,
sure they have more.
mhm,
And a lot of first-time home buyers, like how, Tim and I were when we bought our first house, we used an FHA loan. And it
mhm,
wasn't because we weren't qualified. It's just that we needed a little boost getting out into the real estate market. And with FHA, we were able to have, back then it was 3% down, and
mhm.
our FICO scores didn't have to be over, a
Over 700.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's how we got our foot in the door. And
Mhm.
so a lot of first-time home buyers still use an FHA loan, but their
It's a very
price
good loan.
point
Mhm,
is not one that can afford a house. Their price is more like, 450 to 500, and 450 to 500, that range in North Orange County is going to be a condo or
mhm,
a townhouse.
mhm,
But I think what people don't realize, and this is a system that is so outdated,
mhm.
is that
It is.
if you're getting an FHA loan and you're looking at a condo or something, a townhouse, that
Mhm,
they have to be approved for FHA. Isn't that right?
mhm. Yes, so the condo HOA must be approved by the HOA.
Yes.
And so there's some history behind that, as you know, for sure. Yeah. So, but to your point, it's a very, very good loan, and it helps a lot of. And it's, by the way, the FHA loan was designed back in the I think came out in 1930s, maybe
Mm-hmm.
early 40s when it first came out. The FHA is a government-backed loan, okay, and it was designed around helping first-time home buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in those days, it was, the idea was having a lower down payment, right? And they were more flexible in the qualifying than, say, for example, compared to a conventional mortgage. So
Mm-hmm.
I love the FHA loans. It's a great program, and it's helped a ton of good people buy their first house.
Mm-hmm.
It's not technically a first-time buyer program, uh, but it's designed around the first-time home buyer needs, if you will.
Didn't it
Yep.
didn't it used to be like you could only use it one time? And I remember there used to be a lot of rules, but now you can use an FHA loan on your first house or your second
Mm-hmm.
house, or there's no limit to how many times you can use an FHA loan.
That's true, very true, except that here's the difference. You cannot have more than one FHA loan at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
Except that if someone was relocating to a different area by a job relocation, FHA will allow a second FHA loan. But you cannot have two. So in other words, you can't buy a house FHA and then a year from now go buy another house FHA.
Yeah, they're
You have
like,
to pay
hey,
off
wait a minute.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can't have two, but you can use it multiple times. It's not just a one-time opportunity. Yeah.
P.S. We know that's the same thing about VA loans. You can use your VA loan way
Mm-hmm.
more than one time. The trick is you
Right.
have to have the first one closed and processed, which takes a
Right.
week or so at the Veterans
Mm-hmm.
Administration before you can be
Right.
assigned a new VA
Correct.
loan number.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is you know, something you have to know when you're moving a veteran from one place to the next, that you need a little time there. But
Yes, you do.
yeah, but okay, so the FHA, it stands for the Federal Housing Administration. And so the HOA, which is the Homeowners Association, would have to submit a package to FHA to get them on the approved list.
Correct.
And FHA, they're looking at how financially stable the HOA is. They're looking at how much do they have in reserves,
Insurance coverages.
Yeah, is everybody paying their dues? What's going on here? So sometimes an HOA might get rejected because they don't meet the criteria. And then sometimes the HOA doesn't even bother renewing their approved status, which is like insanity to me, because
It is insanity.
I mean, here in Anaheim, you know, North Orange County, we have so many first-time home buyers. And when you say we can't do those kind of loans in this complex, then you're automatically like just scrapping a huge percentage of your buyers. I mean, what else? How else? If somebody finds a condo they really want and they were going to go FHA and it's not approved, like what are our options? What can we do?
Yeah, great question. There are other options right now. We have a really cool program. It's a conventional mortgage, but you can do as low as a 3% down, not use the FHA. But you know, but if the buyer has a higher FICO score, right, and they've got pretty good income, that 3% down loan is a really, really good option, and that does not require, you know, separate FHA approval at all. You know, the history behind that FHA approval was that when the home builder builds the project, the condominiums, they also built those to FHA standards, and FHA approved it when they built it. But if you go back to this recession we had, you know, a dozen or so years ago, FHA had this great idea that they didn't want to be exposed to the liability of HOAs that weren't financially stable, so they gave them expiration dates, right? And so now all these HOAs are expiring. But I think here's my frustration with the process is that FHA will reapprove it as long as the HOA will resubmit the financials and all the documents, like you mentioned, back to HUD or FHA, and HUD will update and renew that approval.
How long does that take? If they were already approved, there was a lapse in their approval, and now they would like to get approved again. Once the HOA submits everything to FHA, how long is that going to take? Well,
pre-COVID, if it was a complete package, it takes about 3 to 4 weeks to get an FHA approval. We could probably still do it in about that timeline. The key with HUD or FHA is it's got to be a really complete package. You just can't submit most of it and think they'll condition for the rest. It's got to be a complete package, or they'll kick it back and just send it back to you to redo it, or just resubmit it. And if you have to resubmit it, you put it back to the back of the line again.
Right.
So it's important that they do the complete package up front. By the way, we have a program at Evergreen. It's a courtesy program. We have a condo. We call it the condo desk. Okay. And so I've got a complete team that knows those guidelines and can actually submit on your seller's behalf to get that FHA condo reapproved.
Oh, very nice.
And so yeah, so we can actually submit all the documents, give you a list of all the documents. And as long as the HOA provides the documents, we will go ahead and resubmit it and manage that entire process. It's kind of cool.
Interesting. So I like that. So like if I was getting a listing in a condominium complex that was not FHA approved, I could call you up and ask you to help me out.
Yep.
But I would also need the cooperation. Would it be the documents that are in the normal package that we order for an escrow, or are these different documents?
It's the different documents. It's more extensive. They're going to ask us, there's a whole stacked list of items, but mostly it's going to dig into deeper into their financials, you know, financial statements and that kind of stuff that they're going to look at. And so the package is more comprehensive, and but it's not that difficult. It's not, because they have all the documents. It's just a matter of locating the documents. It's not that hard to get.
Have you worked with an HOA? Yeah, I mean, sometimes, I mean, sometimes, you pay, when you're in escrow, you have to, of course,
Mhm.
order all these documents, and
Mhm.
your seller pays, $400 to $800 for these, and it
Right.
still takes them 10 days when it's just on their computer. I mean, just click
Mhm.
and send. But okay,
Mhm.
so your department will give you a list of what you need.
Mhm.
Then
Mhm.
you would go to the HOA and you'd say, here are the documents I need. And then
Mhm.
whenever they feel like getting back to you with some of the
Mhm.
documents, or gosh, all the
That'd be a complete
documents,
package, yeah.
then we would submit it to your person. Your person would go through it, make sure it was
All
completely
complete before we
complete,
submit.
and then
Correct.
submit it for you.
Correct.
Is there a fee
Yeah.
for that?
No, we don't charge for it. It's a
Oh,
courtesy.
that's pretty good,
Yep.
because I mean, everybody, if they own a condo or a townhouse, they
Mhm.
need to be checking online to see if they're approved, because honestly, I really feel
Mhm.
like, it's such a disservice
It is.
to see to pay your HOA
Mhm.
every month and
Mhm.
have them not follow through with
Yeah, you're
basic
right.
stuff.
Well, it's a disservice of the HOA not to cooperate with HUD to get those reapproved because, well, as you well know, when you take out that piece of the market, that
Mm-hmm.
hurts the whole condominium association. It's not just that one seller. It's if there's 300 units, that hurts all 300 homeowners
Yeah,
ultimately,
exactly. It's
right?
like a stunted development there with,
Yeah. I mean,
you
you can
know,
still do conventional loans. And we're doing those certainly. But gosh, when you have that FHA approval, it opens up a whole nother world of home buyer opportunities for those
right.
neighborhoods.
So a 3% down conventional
Hmm.
versus an FHA. So obviously your FICOs have to be higher.
Right.
Do you have to have more in reserves or anything?
No, not really. The difference is with the FHA is FHA is a lot more forgiving on the debt ratios, for example.
Yeah.
You're going to have a little bit higher debt ratio, and they're a lot more forgiving on the FICO scores. So if you have, for example, a 660 FICO, FHA is still a really, really great loan. That same 660 FICO on a 3% down is a much higher cost loan at that point, higher interest
Yeah.
rate, higher PMI.
Yeah.
And that's just but there's lots of buyers in that 660, 670 FICO scores that have good income. They qualify
Right.
beautifully, right? And
Right.
they've got the 3.5% down.
Yeah.
And it
FICO
works out
scores are
pretty
a
well.
weird thing. I think
Yeah.
our we should do uh, straight talk here about one time maybe about PMI, and
Yeah.
another one maybe about FICO scores if we haven't done that yet, because
Yeah. Well, that PMI is important to know because it's really misunderstood. But we'll talk about next time. But maybe we'll talk about the idea around PMI, why it's required, and what the benefit is to the home buyer to have that PMI and history behind that. Because a lot of buyers wrongly perceive, in my opinion, that the PMI is like the bad guy, right? It's an extra cost. What they don't know is that without that PMI, they can't buy a house less than 20% down. So the PMI
right,
is really helpful. And also the PMI companies in the last couple of years or so have dropped their premiums substantially. So
yeah,
the PMI is not a very high cost item. It's
right,
actually really affordable and it's not permanent. So
right.
I think we can talk about it in the meeting next time. Yeah,
All right, that
a lot of
sounds
good stuff
good.
there.
Well, good. I appreciate it. And now we know a little bit more about, why when you're going to go out and look for houses, that you have to
Hmm.
know what kind of loan you are getting. Because if you're
Yeah,
getting a
and how to
FHA
structure
loan
it.
and you're looking at condos, you have to know what are you getting into. Do your
When we
homework
look
up
at
front.
FHA approved condos. And by the way, one little side bit to that is that
Yeah.
this is really weird, but that FHA website that has the approved condo list
Yes,
at 5 o'clock on Fridays, it's shut
it's
down.
down. Yep.
No access to it till Monday.
I know. I gotta
So you
gotta
can't look
love
for an
that.
HOA approval on a Saturday. So,
I know
yeah,
exactly. Isn't
yeah,
that funny? It's like, what year is this?
I know.
Jeez. All right. I appreciate your time, and I will see
Yeah.
you next week.
Awesome. Thanks, Megan. See you later.